Welcome back, everybody. Today we are doing an episode of Quick Flips. This is the show where we try to fix a wrecked car in a short amount of time and then flip it for a profit. And sometimes the for a profit part doesn't always work out, but we generally just try to have a quick project for a fun, short video series. Now, this time we're working on this Chevy Equinox. And if you didn't see the episode a couple weeks ago, we got a part Chevy Equinox as well as a Chevy Traverse, which that car's already sold, from Copart. Now that Chevy Equinox is absolutely destroyed, so we're gonna fix this one with the parts from the Copart Equinox. And so this one is wrecked in the front end. As you can see, we've already started tearing into it, but I actually wasn't here when my brother Lance started tearing into it. I wasn't available. He got it torn down pretty far here, and he shot a bunch of clips, so I will show you those here in a couple minutes. This rebuild is going to be a two-part series because we are waiting for parts, unfortunately. So we are just going to get it torn down the rest of the way tonight to have it ready to go back together once parts arrive next week. So that's kind of the goal here this evening. And then in the next episode, we will get this thing completely back together and out on the road. So without holding you up too much, I'm going to throw in the clips that Lance did the other night when he wasn't even sure if we were going to be making a video on this project.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm rolling solo in this project because Spencer's busy tonight, and it is a hot and sweltering one here in Pennsylvania. So it's deep into the evening, it's almost sunset, and I screwed up. I texted Spencer and said, hey man, you want me to go alone on this thing? You want me to video it, whatever? I didn't even know if he really even wanted it on the channel. I worked on it for about an hour, and then he wrote me back like 45 minutes into it, and I just saw it and it said, yeah, please film something. Equinox, supposed to be a quick flip. It was hit in the front. I wanted to tear it down with you guys, but like I said, I didn't get the go ahead from him, and I just kind of started tearing into it. Up on the lift, I already kind of tore into it here a little bit. There's the took the bumper off. I took off the headlights and the fog light and stuff like that. A little plastic cover there. Ignore the caliper, or not the calipers, but ignore the pads and the rotors. They're from another project I just didn't pick up yet. There's the smashed up reservoir. I won't show you the front end quite yet, but on this side here is what's left of the bumper. I got the radiator out. I got the intercooler out. It was broken clean off. Like there's the end of the intercooler. Headlight, another one laying there. Not a lot of usable stuff here. And here's the front end torn apart. I'll just show it to you there. And here's what I know. My biggest thing is I don't want to invest a lot of time, effort, or resources into this thing unless I kind of know it runs. And whenever we picked it up, it would not run. So my first diagnosis here was to figure out, why is it not running? So tore everything down, looked for like cut wires, broken lines, anything that would indicate like why it would not even like fire off even just a little bit. And somebody must have started working on it because like the air box was already kind of taken apart, like the screws were out of that. Here's what I discovered that I think is going to be the answer to my question. Right here, there is a nice ground stud, and right here is a ground cable that's just sheared off. So I'm gonna see if I can get that tucked back in behind there. And it is definitely not safe to like start and run for any period of time, because if you look right here, that is the transmission cover. Like that is the transmission valve body and everything in there. I'm gonna have to pull that cover off and see if that valve body is actually okay. I'm hoping it only broke the cover and didn't actually hurt the valve body itself. So that's gonna be something I have to tear into here in a couple minutes. But otherwise, the front of the whole like engine compartment is in good shape. Even like the radiator support there, or mounting bracket for the bottom is intact. The one for the top is intact. The one for the top on this side is intact. And then here is where it really took the hit. And this is the stuff that, crashed back into the transmission there. It's right here on this end of this horn. This is where your one radiator post would mount. And then you can see right here that it hit so hard that it literally kinked the subframe. So that, you know, is gonna come off the donor car. And then the mounting point for the subframe, like where it actually bolts into here, is messed up. Enough rambling. For the purposes of this video, I don't think it's gonna completely trash the transmission if I get it just to fire off for like a single like stumble. I'm just telling you, before, whenever we had it, before I knew any of this stuff, we tried to start it and it would just crank and crank and crank. It never even pretended to fire off. So let's fix up this ground. Let's get some power on this bad boy. And let's see if it will at least just, even if it's for a quick little blip, I just want to make sure that it does in fact start. And that'll make me confident that I should keep working on straightening other things out and actually get it back on the road. So let's check it out. And I'm gonna see if I can jam this one in behind here and just kind of re-crimp it here. I don't know, hopefully. Yeah, I'm going with that for now. If this thing actually starts, I'll do a proper termination there. All right, here goes nothing. All right, that's what I wanted. The last part that I have any interest in doing this evening is to see what the status of this valve body is on the transmission. I was gonna say the subframe's kind of in the way there, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to be. I think that might be because it's bent up. Anyway, a little tranny fluid left in it. Not much, but there we go. Yeah, it should come out. All right, I'll take a close-up picture here and make sure that there's nothing obviously cracked like down here where it really took the hit. Because if you look at this cover, you can tell that this area right here is where the major impact happened. I don't know, what do you think here? Any cracks? I think this is intact. It's just this little spot right here that has me bummed out on this connector. Just kind of moves a little bit more than it should, and there's obviously a crack right there, and it kind of goes back in behind there. But as far as actually sealing up around the transmission, that's all this. That's actually this seal here, and I don't feel like there's any issues with it.
So thankfully Lance got us started and found that broken ground cable. Good catch. But we now are going to drop the cradle. That's the biggest part of this project, except for what we've learned is these Equinoxes are actually pretty darn easy to work on. You don't have to like drop the whole powertrain with the cradle. Great news, fairly simple, at least it should be, but we haven't attempted it here yet. So here we are on the subframe, and you can see that we got a slight kink right there. Not exactly something you can straighten out real easily, but this is a super simple subframe to remove. You got to do the control arms, take those guys off. Steering rack.
I think can stay with the car.
Can stay with the car. And the engine only has one, just the rear engine mount back there, which is just for it when the engine would twist. It actually doesn't hold it up at all. So don't need to do that.
Yeah, and I can
very simple, actually. Usually you have to drop the engine and everything, but this one should not be a big deal. We did order a brand new one of these pieces. I think Lance talked about it in his clips a little bit, but we just ordered a brand new one rather than worrying about straightening it out at all. And that's one of the pieces that we're waiting on. So
if you hand me that, I can actually show the people,
what it's like down here. Let me get you a little light.
I want to remove these two bolts, which hold on this control arm here. There's two more coming through from the top. So it's going to repeat the same story on both sides on that. Then the steering rack itself has two bolts going downward. The bottom of the threads is like in this hole here. So I'm going to have to put a ratchet back in or something to get myself some good access up to these two bolts. There's one here and there's one over here. Little piece of exhaust needs to come out. I think hopefully the bolts break loose, but it separates here and here just to remove that one flex pipe section. And then Spencer already mentioned this motor mount here. We can get it removed. And at that point, I think it's just the sway bar links need to come out. Come on. 3D gold. Oh yeah, that's awesome. There we go.
We should be where we at least have some room now in the cradle. I think we got like 2 bolts, but go ahead. All right, yeah, she dropped down nice. Okay. Should be able to get the sway bar bolts now.
You got the film where you want it?
Oh yeah. She's out. So what we did is we lowered her down very gently. Actually, what was the most difficult part, Lance? What would you say? Just those. Honestly, the sway bar bolts weren't even the most difficult. It was probably just doing the steering rack ones by hand.
Yeah. There she is. A little bunged up.
And we have found a new one that we were going to go get. What is it? $110? It's like $45.
113 bucks.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Because what happened? Oh, actually, did you explain that in your clips? I'm not sure. I don't know.
I didn't discover it until after.
Okay.
But yeah. So the parts car I bought that I was going to steal everything off of is all-wheel drive. And I crawled under this thing last night after my video clips, and I was like, if the exhaust goes through this opening here, and the motor mount goes in this hole here, where possibly could the rear wheel drive shaft go for this engine cradle? And then I was like, I bet you they have a different front wheel drive versus all wheel drive setup. And sure enough, they do.
Yep.
So,
but honestly, for $113, I kind of like not even worrying. Yeah, to do what we just did.
Yeah.
So, well, we are going to wrap it up here. This is part 1 on the Equinox quick flips rebuild. You might be out of the camera there. Appreciate you getting.
I'm in yet?
I mean, you're in it.
Okay.
You're in it even when you're not. So, anyways, this truly one of the easiest cars I think we've worked on.
Yeah.
Like everything is kind of accessible.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if I was just going to replace like the steering rack or something like that, I think that would maybe be difficult because I think you probably have to drop the cradle or at least most of the way. So like something like that would be a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
But for us and what we're doing,
it's nice.
Everything's accessible. Yeah. It's one of the easier cars as long as it drives and runs.
I think when we go to like put the cradle back up, getting like the sway bar bushings to like line up with the 10mm holes and stuff like that.
I think there's going to be
there might be some frustrations there, but it's not terrible.
We definitely, when we started this project, were thinking that we were dropping powertrain and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I guess in the next episode, we'll talk about, because I don't think we've talked about what the price was on this or...
I don't know, should I tell the price?
No, we'll talk about it in the next one. We'll do the full breakdown.
Okay.
We'll make it up if it's not good enough, and then what it should sell for.
Okay.
So,
I didn't tell you this, but on other parts I'm not stealing from the other car, I'm not going to steal the transmission cover either.
You're just going to sell that as plastic, a full power.
They're like $25 on eBay.
Yeah.
And that way I can sell that transmission as a whole, not torn apart transmission.
Yeah, so the next episode we'll be tearing apart the other one. I forgot we could have been doing that. But Lance will probably do that because guess what? I am not going to be in the garage this weekend and he is. So, got a wedding. So, big important stuff that I'm doing. But
not your wedding?
Not mine. No. Family. So, appreciate you guys following along. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next Quick Flips.